Quite frankly, I'm tired of seeing white women taking up all of the space in a movement that was inherently Black and indigenous. My name is Dominique Drakeford, and I work very diligently to be zero waste-ish. Some exciting things that I do on a day-to-day would be carrying my mason jar or my water bottle. I bring my own tote bag whenever I need to go grocery shopping. I try to reduce single-use plastic. I try to use tin and glass as much as possible. In my home, I just started my first backyard garden, so I'm growing my own food. I have my own compost bin, so I'm composting waste that's in the home. I DIY as much as I can. I upcycle and repurpose clothing when I can. I vintage shop, thrift shop. Sometimes I make my own house cleaning products. Sometimes I make my own skincare and hair products. And one of my favorite things to do is make my own toothpaste. And another way that I really work to be sustainable on a day-to-day is showing that on my Insta stories. My sustainability journey didn't happen until I moved to New York, and I was attending this colloquium, and it was about sustainability and environmentalism. And I really looked and saw that there was nobody who looked like me. And the only person I saw that looked remotely like me was a laborer being shown on a screen. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not with this. This is where a shift needs to happen, and this is where I need to develop a voice so that we can create change. In terms of formal education, I have my bachelor's degree in business environmental management, and then I have my master's degree in sustainable entrepreneurship and fashion. Growing up in Oakland, I definitely had access to nature. And so that was where my first love was sort of cultivated. One of the reasons why I refrain from wearing the zero waste title, the zero waste movement, felt very exclusive. It had sort of a privileged veil over it. And the conversations that were taking place in the zero waste community never paid homage to Black and indigenous cultures who sort of created that mandala to be zero waste or to be resourceful. Being resourceful has been something that communities of color have had to do for generations. And so being able to take that first step to shift our understanding is super important. So I want to see more Black and indigenous people being highlighted in the zero waste community. Quite frankly, I'm tired of seeing white women taking up all of the space in a movement that was inherently Black and indigenous. And the environmental crisis is disproportionately affecting Black and indigenous people, despite the fact that they've had these zero waste manifestos always. I am the co-creator of an initiative called Sustainable Brooklyn, which bridges the gap between the sustainability movement and targeted communities. We are two Black women who came together realizing that, number one, we were tired of the narrative of sustainability, again, being white-driven, but also we were tired of going to these sustainability events and not being represented in the audience, not being represented on the panel, not being represented as models, not being represented in creative direction, and most importantly, sustainability not discussing solutions for Black and indigenous communities on the ground. We're able to create events and provide resources and discuss sustainability, mainly fashion, food, and wellness, but discuss it from such a holistic approach in a way that has never been done before. Our last symposium is called Earth. Our next symposium is called Air. And air is gonna obviously focus on air quality, but also really look at the mental health aspect of breathing and breath work. And then fire and water are gonna take place in 2020. So we're super excited to be able to have this elemental series that's gonna transcend how we look and understand and sort of activate on sustainability. My baby is Melina S, and the S stands for And Sustainable Style. Melina S is a digital space that celebrates Black and indigenous communities of color in fashion, food, wellness, and land sovereignty. And it's a unique space where I'm able to interview all of these different trailblazers, all of these different vanguards from around the globe who either have a brand, have a business, or they have an awesome sustainability initiative. I think now more than ever it's imperative for us to redefine sustainability and give it a very clear historical context, but also make sure we're including a very authentic cultural lens to that mix and really making sure that we are giving agency and stakeholdership to Black and Indigenous communities if we really want to have a sustainability movement.